Let's go ahead and return from break discussing the student course section enrollment file type and the data elements involved in student course section reporting in CALPADS. These are the notable points that we want to ensure that you understand with regards to the student course section enrollment record. You will need to coordinate with school site staff and with counselors in obtaining the relevant data for student course section enrollment files and in ensuring the data that you submit in student course section enrollment records in CALPADS accurately reflects student course enrollments at your LEA. Before you submit data to CALPADS, you will need to determine the students you must report student course section enrollment records for in Fall 2. Student course section enrollment records are required for all courses in which students are enrolled on Census Day, the first Wednesday in October. If Census Day occurs when some enrolled students are in tracks that are off session, the Fall 2 submission should include the course sections and the students enrolled in those course sections scheduled on the first day that the tracks are in session after Census Day. LEAs are not required to submit course section enrollment data for adult classes, child center or preschool classes, before or after school childcare programs, pull-out or push-in instruction taught by an itinerant or pull-out push-in teacher or resource teacher, unless the course section already exists in the master schedule, or students primarily enrolled in a non-public, non-sectarian certified school or NPS school. LEAs are not required to submit student course section enrollment data for activities. You will also need to determine the appropriate class setting for students, whether in class, self-contained, departmental, independent study, or push-out pull-in. When reporting student course enrollment records, ensure that key attributes between the student course section enrollment and the course section enrollment records match in order to avoid submission error. This is most importantly the SEID or SEED and the course section ID. Finally, you will need to know and be mindful of your course attributes. Course enrollments are relevant in Fall 2, and course completions are relevant in EOY. Certain fields, for example, student credits earned or final grade, are only relevant to course completions in EOY 1. Student course sections for students with primary, secondary, or short-term enrollments who are active on Census Day in grades kindergarten through 12 should be reported. The student course enrollment data should reflect students enrolled in those courses on Census Day, again, the first Wednesday in October. If Census Day occurs when some enrolled students are in tracks that are off session, the Fall 2 submission should include the course sections and the students enrolled in those course sections scheduled on the first day that the tracks are in session after Census Day. The student course section enrollment record represents the academic content or curriculum a student is receiving on Census Day. This is accomplished by student course section enrollment records linking students to course section enrollment records that contain the academic content information. And this is a visual of those links between the course section and student course section. Here's a bit more of a detailed visual of those links in the student course section enrollment record. Student course section enrollment data provides information on the number of students enrolled in various courses on Census Day. Student course section records must have a corresponding course section record posted in CALPADS prior to submission. The student course section enrollment record ties to a course section enrollment record by the following attributes, and they are the attributes within this A field labeled 1 through 5. First is the academic year ID or academic year key. Then we have the school of course delivery labeled 2. We have the academic term code labeled 3, the local course ID labeled 4, and the course section ID labeled 5. All of these fields tie a student course section enrollment record to a course section enrollment record, and so are very important to be mindful of and to populate accurately and thoroughly. Student course section enrollment records do not include student outcome information. things like grades or Carnegie units earned. These are for student course completion records submitted in EOY 1. Student course enrollment records include only data that is used to enroll the student in the course section. The SCSE 139 is a common error triggered during the Fall 2 submission. The SCSE 139 triggers when a student course section record does not have a corresponding course section record. Usually, this is because the student course section enrollment file was submitted prior to posting the course section enrollment file. If all records in a submission fail due to this error, start by comparing the file status category here, as well as the date time submitted category here. If you find that the student or the course section enrollment record was posted after the student course section enrollment record was submitted, you will have to resubmit the student course section enrollment record. And that concludes our discussion of the student course section record. How are we doing in chat, Marshall?
Doing great.